So we'll review real quick here, for the purposes of what we had missed. Again, Fund 1 is our general fund, which has, or Fund 1 is the general fund, transportation operations, capital expenditures. And then Fund 2 is our food service, Fund 4 is our community service fund, and then Fund 7 is our debt service, as far as the repayment of bond principals and interest and those types of things, okay? For the purposes of where we are at, this is kind of where we're at with what was audited in 21-20, and this is what we budgeted for 21-22. You can see where there's some variations a little bit here and there. Remember, revenues are what we bring in, okay? So you can we audited for what this amount was going to be coming in, and this is what was actually budgeted for this year, so we had a decrease in revenues. Obviously, you look at our enrollment and that kind of stuff as far as the revenues. Food service, this is kind of a bigger decline, really because of with COVID and a higher number of people are not filling out their free reduced lunch information as well, and so we're seeing a kind of a significant dip there. Community service, slight increase in revenue. That would be with our kids club and the things that we run through our community ed program. And then our debt service has a slight decline just because of how much we're getting in from different avenues on the debt side of things.
Well, what do you
Refinanced and all that kind of things with our bonds and that type of stuff, okay? And so now these are our expenses. General fund expenses, this is what was audited, and this is what we actually budgeted, so we've actually reduced our expenses a little bit there. Food service has also gone down slightly. Our community service, because we're expanding and we're doing more things there, that's just gonna cost more. And then our debt service has actually had a big drop because of the payoff of one of our bonds. It maxed out. So then that amount dropped. So the next year, this amount would carry over, and then this amount would be somewhere similar to this on the next year's truth and taxation presentation, okay? So in the process of how Minnesota district property taxes are made. So we have our step one, the county assessor determines the estimated market value, and this really is the most important aspect of it. What they determine that your property is worth is what dictates how much you get taxed. Step two, the legislature sets the formulas for the tax capacity. Step three, the county auditor then calculates the tax capacity for each parcel of property in the county. Step four, the legislature sets the formulas which determine the levy limits.
So Jim, I just want to go, I'm not
Yep.
sure if we're supposed to be interrupting you or not.
That's fine.
I just want to go back to that step one, because I've
Sure.
seen kind of out there a lot of complaining about property taxes going up, and then when I guess I live in a township, so keep that in mind, but when I looked at how much my property taxes went up, it was almost because my property, it was pretty much all because my property value went up.
Right.
Not necessarily because what anybody was charging me went up, but my property value went up quite a bit, so
Yep.
taxes went up. So you gotta look at both pieces of it, you know, how much was property value.
Right, and what's kind of killing us right now, I shouldn't say killing us, but what's really impacting the taxpayer right now is the fact is that the housing market is so hot, and it's across the country. And people are getting amount values and selling their amounts, and so with the high number of volume turning over, the counties are looking at what these properties are selling for, and so they're reassessing a lot of properties, which are jacking up the assessment values, which in turn is gonna impact what your tax statement says you should be able to pay. Step five, then the Department of Ed calculates the detailed levy limits for each school district based on formulas. Now you have to remember there's 44 parts to the formula. Okay, so for Henderson, because of our size, there's a lot of parts that we don't have, like a Minneapolis school district would have, or St. Paul school district to have, or Apple Valley and those types of school districts. So there's all kinds of different parts that play into what we would get. And then the step six, the school board adopts the proposed levy in September based on the limits set up in step five. So you've already set the limits. We approved this back in September. And then step seven, the county auditor divides the final levies from step 6, by the district's total tax capacity from step 3 to determine the tax rate needed to raise the property levy amount. The auditor then multiplies this tax rate times each property tax's capacity to determine the school tax for that property. Okay? Basic economics.
Right, clear.
All right, so with that being said, these are the dates that we have to meet. We met all of them, and so right now we're having on December one with the public hearing on the levy, and then today we'll certify the levy of what we had talked about back in September. Okay? Any questions on that?
Can I just add one more thing that I know Kai mentioned in the past, and I think is really valuable for me, that in addition to, the fact that we really don't control what the levy is, that most of it is, like you said, controlled by what the property values end up being, or how they change. In addition to that, if property values here rise more than the average school district's property values rise, our levy will increase more than other districts, because the amount of state aid we will get will decrease, and that will increase the local property tax burden.
Right.
So, in a sense, the hotter our market stays in relation to other markets,
Right.
The more our
Less
local,
help the state gives.
right, the less the state gives, and the more
Yep.
local taxpayers are responsible for.
Yeah, and so for us, the nice thing about it, only silver lining is that for the most part, the bulk of the state has seen an increase in property values. There are some areas in the state that haven't, so they'll get more aid. But for the most part, the state, it's a hot market for the state. If you're around the Twin Cities or any sort of area that's relatively close to the Twin Cities, or a metro area like St. Cloud, Rochester, Duluth, those types of locations. All right. As far as the tax calendar then, the final levy cannot exceed what was proposed back in September. And then the certification of levy is the culmination of the 5-month process which began the previous August. So it's always kind of, essentially it looks like a year behind through the process. So and here's our calendar for upcoming years, as far as where things will be at, as far as with the state, the levy, the budgeting, and where the audit lands. Just kind of give you a timeline. Okay. So, where are we? So these are kind of two quotes from the state. The first one is from the Taxpayer Association. Basically, it's just, I'll read it so that way people can hear if they can't see it, but the school districts are different in several respects. They have more state funding with much different formulas for aid than counties and cities, and are under a strict levy limits. As a practical matter, school districts really don't have a very much authority, any meaningful authority anyway, over their local tax decisions, with the exception of decisions to build school buildings and the excess levy referendums. School district taxing decisions are pretty much a matter of state law. There's not much we can do. So if someone's mad at you for your taxes, unless it was a bond that was passed or something, they can't really kind of blame the school district. This is a breakdown then of the different parts of the certified levy from 2021 and what was proposed for levy payable in 2022. The RMV references the referendum market value, and then the NTC is the net tax capacity, in case you were wondering. You'll get a quiz on that, Joel.
Okay. Paying attention.
All right. So in essence, if you look at where we're at, so unless somebody's property has been raised, let's say if their values are stayed the same, this is what they would see as far as a change in the overall estimated change on their property taxes. But if their values have gone up, then that'll be different because it will go up but based on the percentage that it went up. Okay, so for the most part as a district, we're very stable. If everything stayed the same, nobody's property taxes would have gone up because of the school district, as long as their value stayed the same. Okay? So comparison then, this is where we rank compared to neighboring districts. As far as the estimated value off of a home value of 175, which is the average in the school district. This looks similar to what we had talked about when we went through the bond questions as well.
Wait, can you just for a second,
Sure,
I just
yep.
wanna highlight that. So St. Peter, our much beloved competition over there, is getting $874 per an average house contributed. We are getting, no, that's the, like how much you would pay, like.
Yeah, that's $175.
Your house is 175.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, $175,000 house, yeah, okay, so they're collecting $874, we're collecting $550. So across all our households, you know, we're $300 short. Like in terms of like if we're trying to compare ourselves and say, are we providing the educational opportunity? We're $300, we're doing it with our hand tied behind our back because we're $300 shy of them.
Well, there's been comments about them having more programs.
Right, and
This is
that's
why.
how they can do it, right? Because
Right.
their citizens are willing to pay
Yes.
$300, or Cleveland, I mean, look at that.
Right,
Yeah,
and
that's-
even on the average level, you know, we're falling $160 short.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
If we had $300 extra times household, say we must have close to 1,000 houses by, we
Mhm.
have 7,000 people or whatever.
Well, yeah,
We
there's
would be able to
like,
do a lot more
We'd
programs.
have a lot more, yeah.
yeah, so I mean, this kind of explains where things are at, you know. And then the next one goes over the egg property, as far as the 1 acre homestead egg property. And then the acreage at a value of $6,000, I think, an acre. So you kind of see where, again, we compare with our neighbors and across the state. All right. So, with that, essentially how your 2022 local tax, school property tax is spent, 55% of them go towards the general fund, 3% towards community education, and then 42% towards debt service. Okay? And then in essence, if you have any questions, that's how you can reach me. Any questions on that?
I think we asked them all. We
Okay.
weren't shy about asking them if we do.
Nope,
I
that's
don't
it.
think we have any, for the record of the recording, there are no really general members of the public here. We do have a few staff members from the district. I guess, Mr. Chris, you do live in town, so if you wanted to ask a question. All right,
All right,
is that all we gotta do?
that's it.
You know, I thought we were gonna get to see the budget. Or that was the budget review.
That was the budget.
Oh, I got it. I was thinking next year's budget,
Oh, no, not yet.
not yet.
No, it's coming up.
Very anticipatory.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All
Okay,
right,
any further, I guess we have public comment is the last item on the agenda. We covered that, right, Jim?
yep,
Call for comment? All right,
we have no comment.
we have no comment. All right, so we'll call an end to the truth and taxation meeting, and we will move on to our regular school board agenda. So, everything else.
You want to plug it in, so take the pressure off you? Should I plug it in, take the pressure off you?
That's fine, I can check every once in a while.
Okay. So then I'll move it up closer.
Just put it right on Bridget, that's fine.
Right on Bridget?
The rest of it's already-
All right, so we'll zoom out. I didn't break any.
You got one of those wheels just to break on.
Oh, I thought maybe it was hiding a hole in the floors.
Okay.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the December 6th meeting of the Lee Sueur Henderson School Board. I will call us to order at 6:51 PM. All directors are present with the exception of Director Schwartz, who is sick. So with that, we always start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item number 3, as we always review our mission and vision statement. So the mission of Lee Suhr Henderson Public Schools is to provide a shared commitment to learning that enables every student to contribute and succeed in life. And our vision is Lee Suhr Henderson Public Schools, where individual dreams and aspirations are born and fostered through student-centered learning. And just as a reminder, we always look at one of our objectives, so I know I have it in here. I will find it, maybe. Does anybody remember any of our objectives off the top of their head? This one here. Hold on a second. Pull it up here. There we go. So we have, since we're talking about budgets tonight, on our finance goal is that Lee Suhr Henderson Public Schools will grow and preserve the district's financial standing while maintaining programs, services, and facilities efficiently. So one of our goals, this was created back in about 2017, and one of our goals was to establish potential bond referendum options. So we at least got that far. Cross one. We're working on it anyway. Okay. And then the other one was provide year-to-date financial information to the board on a consistent and timely basis. So we took care of that tonight too. All right, with that, item 5 is the approval of the agenda. We did have some changes kind of a little bit later this afternoon than we usually do, so just so everybody's aware and saw those, if you're that board book open. I think the big one was that we are recommending that Jennifer Berkland become an interim business manager as opposed to hiring her as a full-time business manager.
Okay.
That was the only change, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's on here, it's just wanted to call that to attention. Okay, any questions or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Director Sorensen, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Ream. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries 6-0. All right, item 6 is our open forum, and looking at, we do not have any.
Maybe I should just leave that on. The mics weren't on, so I wasn't sure.
I'll just talk about it.
Sorry. Okay.
So we don't have anybody here present for the open forum. Moving on to item 7, Lee Suhr Henderson School District recognizes, so Director Hathaway agreed to lead these in place of Director Schwartz. So, item 7.1 is donations and grants received.
So this is a resolution to accept grants and donations to the Lee Suhr Henderson School District. Whereas the Lee Suhr Henderson School District Board encourages the support of the district's educational programs through the funding and support of grant opportunities and donations that meet the goals and objectives of the school district. Whereas the school district will control and maintain all grants and donations to ensure that the interests of all students are met. Whereas the grants and donations listed below have been reviewed and approved by the administration of the Lee Suhr Henderson School District. Therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2397 to accept the following grants and donations for the purposes intended. From the Lee Suhr Knights of Columbus, $5,000 for extracurricular athletic trainer. Siola Jean Foundation, $500 for literacy in the community program. Robert Stengel, $250 for Hilltop Elementary activities. Friends of the Henderson Library, $36 for books for Henderson preschool students. Blue and Gold Booster Club, $2,592.50 for Wi-Fi installation for the football field camera. The Suhr Knights of Columbus, $500 for 7 Mindsets curriculum and professional development.
All right. Kelsey makes it look easy, doesn't she? When she reads them.
Of course.
So, thank you to all of our donors who are helping our district. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Motion from Director Roby, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Director Cross. I have to do roll call for this one, so Director Ream,
Aye.
Director Hathaway,
Aye.
Director Tuck, aye. Director Roby,
Aye.
Director Cross,
Aye.
Director Director Sorensen.
Aye.
All right, the resolution passes 6-0. All right, 7.2 is the fall sports all conference. Yeah,
Okay.
Lori.
So we'd like to recognize from the tennis program, the following all-conference award winners: Chloe Brandt, Darby Dunning, Anna Pavlo, Maya Schwartz, Gracie Biskins, Ella Nesbitt, and Chloe also participated in the state tournament as a singles athlete. And winning an all-conference honorable mention award was Morgan Jones. And Linda Seaver was also named the MRC Tennis Coach of the Year. On the cross-country team, the all-conference award winner from that group was Haley Juarez, who was also all-section and also participated as an individual in the state tournament. Honorable mention awards went to Dylan Novak and Brandy Wolf. From the volleyball team, Julie Moore made the all-conference team, with honorable mention honors going to Morgan Schwab. From the football team, we have 3 all-district award winners: Mason Reinhardt, Nathan Gregerson, and Jack Steinborn, with honorable mention awards going to Brogan McMillan and David Gupton.
Congratulations to those athletes. I know at the tennis banquet, they told us there's only 13 people that get that all-conference award, and LSH brought home 7 of them.
Jeez.
So, just to give you a sense of our tennis team, not only good on the court, but in the classroom as
Wow.
well, so.
When I had heard Haley Juarez is the first female to ever make it to state in cross country,
Yes.
so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So congratulations to our athletes, doing it on and off the field and court. All right, students of the month.
So in kindergarten,